All right, welcome. We've got some viewers coming on. We're going to throw on a couple great guests this evening. My name's Vince Hurtado. We're here with Five Alive, and we're streaming through Wild West Bass Trail. Going to also be on YouTube. We've got about, close to 50 viewers right now. Tonight's guests are going to be Ken Ma. We're going to have Cliff King, and we're going to have our newest Apex winner, Phil Dutra. I'm going to pop them on in just a moment. Real quick, just some housekeeping items. I've had a lot of questions coming on about what's this Five Alive thing and what's going on. And basically, it's just a show that straight through Wild West Bass Trail as you update on what's going on, not just with Wild West Bass Trail or Apex or their affiliates, the kayak trail, but just bass fishing in general. And we're just keep our finger on the pulse and have some great guests. We've had Jared Littner. We're going to try and get some other guys across the national board as well as the local board, because this is all really important. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in a couple guys. You might know who they are. First, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Phil Dutra. And hey, there he is, Phil Dutra, the champ. Many of you guys don't know this. Phil's not just a one-time show. He's actually won a couple times, and this is his third major. Very, very impressive, and a humble winner at that. I like calling him Rain Man, and I'll go into the detail why I call him Rain Man. But Phil, I'm really glad to have you. And we have Ken Ma, who's graciously decided to come see us as well. He's from his home in Elk Grove. He's a multi-winner as well. But more importantly, he's one of my best friends. You may or may not know that. Know Ken a long time, probably a real long time. And we're really happy to have him. Ken, thanks for showing up. And let's see who we got here. We got Cliff King. Cliff King, a Cal Open winner. And he's joining us. And today's show is going to be really interesting because not just are we Apex anglers, but anglers in general. We're going to be touching base on just a lot of things this evening. But first and foremost, I'm going to go right to it, Phil, while people are still popping in. Has it set in yet? Has your win set in? I'm looking in the background and all I see is this giant trophy.
I feel less than a person. I don't know.
Yeah. Thanks, Vince. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's definitely set in, but I think it's still setting in. I went fishing today, and I had a buddy with me, and we were on the water, and I kept rethinking, and it's pretty special. It's by far the most special win I've had. And when I rethink, I think so much of it is when I think about the format, the anglers, the competition, the fun, the no net, it just makes it so much more special than anything else I've won. And so it's still setting in, but I definitely, it has, it's still setting in.
Yeah. And we're going to speak more about that. You said fun. What people don't know, Cliff, you were actually at the event as well and hosted a couple of us Apex anglers. And Ken, you and I talk about this a lot. The word fun is definitely involved in this group of anglers. Something that I haven't seen in a long time. Is this that big of a difference? This is a big paradigm shift in bass fishing. I haven't seen this in a while.
For me, I know when, Jeremy and Randy and the whole behind the scenes team came up with the concept, I was real skeptical, to do something like that. But now having done 3 of these, you listen to the anglers and, you listen to the guys that Phil beat. We're talking about Jared Lintner, Nick Salvucci, Greg Gutierrez, John Pearl, and not to leave anybody else out, but and everybody went up there, and the format is just it's hard to explain how stressful, fun, and challenging it really is.
Yeah, and Cliff, again, we got more viewers logging on, so I want to really touch base on this while they're logging on and get ready to see with the heart and soul of what's going to happen tonight. But from the outsider looking in and hosting some of the anglers, some of the Apex anglers, was the fun evident, or what was going? Could you feel that vibe? Because I know everyone during halftime, I call it halftime. Phil, I saw you just jumping off the bow of your boat, going swimming. I saw John Pearl out there swimming. You guys were, doing the backstroke and just cooling off. It was hot. but we were having a good time. I mean, did you feel that, or were you resonating with that, Cliff?
You know, I felt it here, and I live in a small town called Ione, and people were talking about it like crazy. It was really exciting. It was really exciting.
Did you feel left out?
You know, I did. It hurt. I had
to
ask.
Sounds like he wants to kick his dog.
And we show up on his home pond, and he's seeing us all fish, and he's just thinking, what's going on here?
It killed me. It killed me.
Well, we touched on the format, Cliff, and I want to go back to Phil. The format. How does this compare to your other wins? I mean, it's not your typical format, and a lot of people are asking. I know a lot of people are following on Tourney X now. We're getting a lot of questions. You know, has this changed the way you're fishing, and how does this compare to your other wins?
Yeah, so I'll try to be as brief as I can. I told my wife in the beginning of the year I was going to fish Apex because when I went to the first private invite, I loved what Jeremy and Randy had to say. I loved the vision. I loved how professional they were. But I honestly can say I wasn't overly excited about what I thought the format was going to be. And I've told everybody this in the last couple months. None of us here, plus all the other anglers, we're not paid. We're not forced to say any of this. There's no incentive for us to say this or not. But I can truly say, after we fished the first event up at the Columbia River, John Day River, I had so much fun. I was staying with Ken Ma, and we were talking about it, how much fun it was. And I honestly can say, I didn't think that when we talked about the format at first, I was like, yeah, it's cool. I want to do it just because it's the inaugural year. It's a big deal. I love the vision. But then after doing the first one, for those of the people that don't know, I'll be moving to Alabama at the end of this year. And I've told my wife, if I can make it possible, I will travel back from Alabama to fish Apex next year, if the schedules allow me to. So I will literally drive across the country the opposite way and fish Apex. That's how much fun it was.
You know, people don't understand how much, some people do, how much energy you have, Phil. We were in line watching you. I mean, I didn't know if you were going to pee yourself or if your heart was going to stop, man. You were just, so I call Phil Rain Man for one simple reason. He's got this hamster that runs in the wheel, and this is Phil. Like, give me more information. He sits there. He's got to put all that information in his head in order to formulate his strategy. Okay. And you touched on this, you actually gave us a 3-point strategy, and we're going to go into that. And I'd just like you to say what your strategy is, because I want Ken to weigh in on the format and how your strategy actually played into it. But you need information in order to live, man. If you ain't got nothing in your head, you're dead. I mean, and we all felt that. So what was that 3-point strategy?
Yeah, and I've been living on this the last year and a half. It's helped me in all my bass fishing, but it's strategy, versatility, execution. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not just a bland word. Strategy is everything from doing all your research at home, figuring out what's a big fish, what kind of fish you're fishing for, what is the lake layout, what's the format of the tournament, taking in, like you said, the Rain Man analogy. I'm a data guy, so I take in as much data as I possibly can, and it helps me formulate my decisions. It helped me formulate what I was fishing for on day two. Day two, because of the data I had from day one, I went out and said I need to catch 3 to 5 fish, and I did that. I caught 3, and I was able to squeak in. And so I fished for 3 fish, preferably smaller spotted bass was my goal because of the data. And then day 3, I changed that, what I was doing because of, the format changes. So you go to your best 5 fish. So I knew that where I wasn't going to work to win fishing for spotted bass. So I changed that. But yeah, definitely a data guy. But yeah, it's strategy, versatility, execution. They go deep into all 3 of those segments, but that's the way I prep for all my tournaments.
Zach is saying, he's commenting in that you're 1,000 miles an hour. And it's true. You are, man. You are just, you're just on a whole nother level when it comes to thought process. Can weigh in a little bit on that format, because Cliff, you're taking this all in as we're talking about this. And I'm sure you're already formulating something about, well, how do I fish these events? It's completely different. And Ken's going to kind of share, he's going to weigh in on a couple things that we talk about quite often. But Ken, what's your thought process on the format itself?
From where it came from, when we had that NDA go out and we had that secret meeting back in September, like Phil said, a lot of the anglers, the way it was presented, a lot of the anglers really didn't even know what the format was. We basically bought into a concept, and then we could see the passion on the presenters' faces of what they wanted to do. And then even up, through the year, we had a couple of warm-up events. We did a trial on the Delta. We did a kind of a dry run on the at Arlington, the Columbia River, the one that Greg Gutierrez, dominated. And I went to that, and Phil and I, like I said, we stayed together, and it's growing. It continues to morph. What I love is the 33 anglers have become so close knit because they feel like they belong to something special. But I think what I love more than anything is, like Nick and Jared, we're friends, and we're trying to strategize literally the day before the tournament, right? Because it's a 30-day off limits. There is no practice. There's no information. You show up, and Randy basically tells you what the format's going to be on Thursday.
Right. We don't know if it's going to be a 1 day, a 2 day, or one way in, 2 way in, 3. We don't know.
You don't know. You don't know if the scoreable bass is going to go to 15 inches to 13 inches. You just don't know. And that, I think that's part of the fun. So we show up on Thursday. They host a tremendous banquet for the anglers. They feed us. They treat us like professionals. And Randy goes over the format. He hands the format to you at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday. At 5:30 a.m. on Friday, you're fishing to make the cut. I mean, what? It doesn't get really more exciting than that of not knowing. But what I'm proud of is that the group of anglers have really grown into that from the first meeting that I attended, and what they were concerned with, what we were concerned with. We're really no longer concerned with anymore. It's the format it's a true hybrid format where you can make it on keepers, you can make it on catching 5, and when you make it, it turns into a traditional 1-day tournament at the end of the event. It's really a hard event to win.
We talked about that, Cliff. You're just strategizing, trying to just make the cut, and then all of a sudden you made it, and okay. It doesn't matter if I squeaked in or if I'm leading, because it's 0 now. Tell me what you're thinking about this. I mean, what's going through your head?
Yeah, I love the hybrid formula or strategy or formula. I think it's a great thing. Me the way I fish, it gives me a chance to qualify for day 3 by sheer numbers, let alone just weight.
I think
it fishes to my strengths. I think it evens the playing field for everybody, truthfully. I mean, you got those guys who throw the big baits and they sack them up and have a monster weight, but it gives the guys who, like myself, maybe don't throw the big baits, an opportunity to still qualify for day 3, to make it to day 3, and then you just adjust after that.
And that's the thing. I think this format makes you a better angler. I don't know of any other. For me, I've always liked, to fish for my own weight, because I just felt like it would, I had to do it on my own. That's just my opinion. I love share format as well. I think everything has its place. But for me, I just always felt like, by going after it on my own, I felt like I could be prepared for whatever was on the horizon. Phil, do you think that's the case? I mean, do you think Wild West is prepping its anglers for Apex, for what you're trying to qualify for the elites? I mean, is this the right direction for Phil?
Yeah, 100%. And I'll tell you why. I've been saying this from day 1 too. It makes you think quicker, fish quicker, act quicker, react quicker, adjust quicker, because we have no, as you mentioned, we have no pre-fish. We're also going to lakes, which is really fun about this format. We're not going to Clear Lake, Shasta, or the Delta, right? So we're going to bodies of water that are preferably smaller. Most guys haven't been to. You have very little experience. And then you throw on top of it, we're by ourselves in the boat. So it's a little more of that elite format where, it's just us, maybe a cameraman in your boat, no net, But yeah, so what I like about which I need to work on. But what I like about it, Vince, is what you said is one of the reasons is I'm trying to qualify for the elites. And back there, these lakes are huge. You get 2 days of practice, but I'm also going to be going against guys that have been back there their whole lives. So fishing Apex, showing up to lakes that I've never been to, and having to make adjustments right now. Like, you can't get behind, especially with the Tourney X platform, and you're able to see where everybody, currently the standings are. So if you look at it and you're behind, you talk about stress and anxiety and emotion, and, you can't just sit there and, you have to change instantly. So I for me personally, and I think for anybody, it is going to train you or teach you that you have to move quicker. You have to think quicker. You have to react quicker.
I would agree. I think, again, and I'm a little biased just because I've had the opportunity to fish it, and it really does provide you that platform to start, making those decisions. Some uncomfortable decisions. Some people are just a lot more comfortable fishing for bigger fish and 1 or 2 bites, but that's not the case with Tourney X. Tourney X is fantastic. I'm hearing a lot of great things about how people are following us on Tourney X. And as you start to understand how it works and you see how many fish are being caught and what the weights are just, they're just kind of like, we're putting them in like, we don't know. I don't know about you. I don't weigh them. I just look at it and go, okay, I think it's 2 pounds, right? But I just want to hurry up and get it in because I want to get back to fishing. But it lets the viewer know, hey, Littner just weighed in, 7 fish, but man, he's putting in like 2.5, 3 pounders. Well, I know Littner, those are 4 pounders if that's the case. If you're putting in 2.5, 3 pounders, he's getting 4 pounders. Okay. And then if it's Ken and he's putting in 2 pounders, I know they're 3.5 pounders. So you do you use Tourney X as strategy?
Me, yes, I do. And I'm probably one of the few guys that actually put in the exact weight. So I weigh my fish. If it's 318, I put in 318. I do. And what I use it for a lot of is to see the activity of the lake. So when I looked at it the first day, I think I caught my first fish an hour and a half in. And that was the first time I looked at it, I was expecting me to be behind the ball. But when I looked at it, I think I was one of, I don't remember at the time, but 5 or 6 guys who actually had weighed a fish. So it wasn't even that people were maybe lowballing or highballing their fish. It's just that, hey, there's only 5 or 6 fish that have been caught in this first hour and a half. This lake is not fishing that great. So that changes maybe my strategy. It changes or maybe it makes me say, okay, I'm going to do what I'm doing longer. I don't need to adjust right now. So I totally use it, I think to my advantage on just seeing the activity of the lake.
All right. Cliff, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You're in 16th place. Ken and I did a little bit of information. He's going to go over the information.
Oh, I'm a statistician.
Let's hear it.
Okay, he's a numbers guy, but I'm going to ask you right now, because I know where you're at. If you qualify for Apex and you are invited, will you accept?
I am 100% going to accept. Absolutely.
Ooh, I get chills, dude.
Yeah, I like
that.
I'd be foolish not to.
Why? I mean, why do you feel that way?
Well, I mean, it's just the whole deal. The whole Apex thing is it's great. I mean, we have nothing like this in our region, and the competition, and it's a platform for us to grow as anglers and support our sponsors, and the sheer camaraderie is great. The overall circuit's great.
So is that why you're going to the Columbia?
I am actually going to go to Columbia to try to secure my spot in Apex. So, Ken, where am I sitting? 16th?
Yeah, you're in 16th. I had recently heard that the Columbia is going over 70 pros, which, Wild West has grown that event in 3 years. The first year they went there, the numbers were not very good. But they've committed to the area. The area wants them there. I'm going also because Luke Johns is going to take second in AOI this year, even though he's leading right now. But yeah, I mean there's going to be a lot of boats there, and I think that when you and I spoke, for you to be at 16th and maybe get an invite. I remember, I'll quote you. What you said to me is, I don't want to maybe get an invite. After Columbia, right. I'm going to be in 10th. I'm getting an invite.
I'm getting in.
Right. And
Yep.
and it's funny because
And that's 100%. That's the reason why I'm going to the Columbia River, so I can qualify for Apex.
yeah, and there's Vince, you and I talked. I talked to Scott Hellison, and he's second in AOI currently. He wants to accept that invite as well, and there's just a lot of opportunity that's going to happen.
Ken, I don't think people understand how hard it is to finish in the top 10. I mean, you've done a fantastic job this year, Ken, Luke Johns, all the guys that are there. Cliffy, I mean, the competition is steep. In the last 5 years, Ken, since its inception, how many times have you finished in the top 10? Once.
One time.
One.
Even you ask Cliff and you ask Phil and even guys like Greg or Jeff Michaels, who are perennial Joe Uribe, they're perennial knocking on the top 10 in AOI. And you look at this year's standings, a guy like Wayne Brazil and a guy like Jeff Michaels and Greg Gutierrez, they go into Clear Lake, single digits in AOI, and they come out of Clear Lake, which are lakes that they like to fish. They come out of Clear Lake and they're double digits AOI. Phil and I talk about this all the time. If you're fishing to be top 10 in anything, every single fish matters. It matters. And that's why the level has risen. That's why the talent has risen. That's why the stakes have risen. Every fish matters when you're trying to qualify. And like Cliff said, real quick, is he's working his tail off to get in this year because he knows that whether it's 2023-ish, for sure by 2024-ish, they're going to start kicking people out.
Right.
And when Apex starts kicking people out, then it's going to be really hard to get back in.
Right. I mean, consistency is the key. Well, being good consistently is the key. And it's tough. I mean, it is really, really tough. And we see it out there. But getting back to the foundation of this, what makes it so appealing is how much fun we're having. As stressful as this is, I mean, you don't have the certain things that you kind of see other places, Phil. I mean, we go out there and you're having fun. You need help launching. Let me launch you, right? I mean, let me park your boat. What do you need something from the truck? Let me help you. What do you got? You got a bait? Like, it's different. And I can't explain it. I just know that it's different, and we want everyone to succeed. It was very humbling it was great to watch you win. Like I said, it was I think everyone was happy for you. There wasn't anyone that I'm sure. I know Littner wanted to win. I'm sure everyone wanted to win. Yeah. But the reality is I don't think there was one person that was not happy for Phil Dutra, and that says a lot about the group that's there, because that's what I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. So the Columbia is going to be very, very important. And we know that. I think, I don't know when the cutoff is. Is the cutoff today or no, Friday, I think, right? Or when is the cutoff?
I think the last day you can actually sign up will be Monday, the 19th, COB.
Okay. So there's a couple more people that are on the bubble. I think Vince Bernal is pretty close. Kerry Harris, you already said. Joey Skim. I think there's been a lot of interest. These guys are really trying to get there. If you guys got any questions for Phil, throw them out there, or Ken, myself, or Cliff, throw them out there. We're gonna keep going a little bit further into this. I'd like to get Phil's spin on a couple things, and then as well as Cliff, and then want Ken to weigh in on something. But real quick, I got some notes here that people were jotting down, and I wanted to make sure that I asked you guys. We talked about it strengthening your skills. Bill, do you feel that it's doing that? I mean, do you feel going into a pro-am? Maybe let's back up. Do you feel like when you fish other events, not Apex events, do you feel like you're more prepared?
Because of Apex? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like when I go into these other pro-ams, just from fishing the first 3 Apex events, it has made me, one of my pet peeves I've had with myself is when I practice, sometimes I'm a really slow starter, even on a lot of day ones of my tournaments. And so Apex has totally transformed that because you can't start slow. So it's helped me in my other tournaments adjust quicker and make those quicker adjustments. So yes, it has made me a much better angler all the way around, no doubt about it. And then also, go ahead.
We're reading Zach's top.
No, yeah, Zach
is just ripping you up right now.
Oh, is it? Yeah, we like to go back and forth. I can't read his, so I don't know what he's saying. But
he just said he left your corner alone.
Oh, he left. Yeah, we were sharing some water. I told him that he couldn't win if he went back there, and he went back there. So he didn't see me on day 3, and I told him I wasn't going to go back there if I didn't. So anyway. He can have it.
Yeah, but leave it, Vince. Like even Zach. Zach raised a young family.
Mm-hmm.
He's an Apex angler now, and this guy has won 2 Angler of the Year awards. For the young people that don't know, Zach Thompson, he won a Bass Angler of the Year (BASS) Angler of the Year award and a National Guard (FLW) Angler of the Year award. So I'd be remiss leaving him out of the top 10 that Phil beat people in, now that he's raised his family, him and his wife, Cassandra, have, and Zach's getting back into it, full fledged. I'm glad to see him, come back out because I remember in our young days, you too, Vince, Zach was a intense competitor.
Lightly put. I want to touch base on that. Zach, you said Zachary has a family. Cliff, I don't know if you have a family. Do you have a family?
I do have a family.
You do have a family. And so staying in this region and being able to sustain your career with Apex means a lot. I mean, we don't have to travel back east if we don't want to, or it's putting stress on our families. I mean, I could speak firsthand that it is tremendously difficult. And I know that you've had many conversations with Jared Littner about this. I mean, when you have kids and you have these responsibilities at home and then you've got to leave, it's difficult. And Apex is really giving the anglers that opportunity that feel like they need to stay here. The foundation, people, let me back up. I know Ken has. Phil, did anyone ask you, why do you guys have to have wrap boats?
Why do we have to have wrap boats?
Has anyone ever asked you that? Like, I get that a lot. Why did the Apex guys have to have wrap boats?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you, why do you think we need to have wrap boats?
I think for the professional sponsorship, TV coverage, all of that. I think you want to look the part. I know for myself, when I watch something on TV, if it doesn't look the part, sometimes you're not as intrigued to watch it. So I think and you're promoting your sponsors, which are a big part of this as we grow, as Apex grows. There's more sponsorships dollars coming into this circuit, I believe, than probably anything we've seen on the West Coast. And everybody wants that. The industry wants that. The anglers want that. Apex wants that. So we have to, one, we want to represent our sponsors, and 2, we want to make sure we look professional. That's my view.
Yeah, I mean, Ken, touch base on that. I know we do, but I really, I hear it all the time. But I think you really explain it well.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this for an hour or 2, but I'm not going to. Here's the thing: is there are anglers because of who they are first, and because of the Apex format. I know personally that there's anglers that are signing 5-figure deals, because of the platform and because of the media and the advertising and the level that this plan that Jeremy and and the anglers, when those of us that were invited to that NDA, that secret meeting back in September.
Yep.
What I appreciated the most about the presenters was they needed our help. It wasn't, hey, we're Wild West Bass Trail, we're lifting Apex. You guys take it or leave it. They were like, look, we need this group of anglers to help us lift this idea and this project off the ground. I liken it to 17 years ago when Bassmasters lifted the Elite Series off the ground. And, you know, you, Vince, Greg Gutierrez, I know Jared Lintner, you know, and many other household names from our region, you know, fished that last year to qualify from the Opens to go to the Elite Series. And that group, you know, that original, what was it, Vince, 109 of you guys?
Yeah, I think it was 109, 110.
Yeah, it was 109 of you guys. And I remember sitting at home going, this ain't going to work. You know, I was like, that ain't going to work. You know, and it did, you know, and it really, you know, spawned the industry. So, you know, on in our region, you know, Apex strives to do that, you know, to make it qualification, to make it special, to make it hard to get in there, to make it challenging. You know, and some of the plans that they have to scale the Apex Championship, I mean, it's stupid, the plans that this organization has. You know, it's not just going to be a circuit that guys are just going to fish and exchange their money around between each other down the road.
No, and stupid being like wide, like, wow. I mean, we knew we were going to have a championship, but nothing of a magnitude that they're really illustrating at this point. And that leads me into something really important, and that is the growth. We're seeing already from our last show that Jeremy stated, he alluded to Apex growing in events and outside of our region, so to speak. I mean, this means a couple things for anglers like yourself, Cliff, as well as Phil and myself and Ken, but we have the ability now to talk to those other potential partners and go, we're going to be here in X, Y, and Z, and you can guarantee that. And you're going to have coverage. I mean, is it appealing to know that you have that in your hand now? I mean, he talked about the likes, I have notes here. He talked about the likes of Utah, Arizona, maybe Nevada, possibly New Mexico, Idaho. I mean, this is pretty exciting. I mean, really exciting. So now, like, you know, Ken, you just touched base upon this foundation. You know, you look the part, you got great anglers, they're going to this, and now we have that opportunity here. I mean, is that exciting to you, Cliff? Because, I mean, you're almost like sitting there taking it all in, like, oh my God, I'm chomping at the bit. And you're just sucking it all in right now without any emotion. But I mean, are you feeling this? I mean, what's going through that?
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm excited. I'm going to do everything I can to make it. I want to be a part of this.
You know, I believe the invites or the qualification, once after Columbia goes off, we're going to be wrapping up here real soon, quickly. But the invites after the qualifications will come out shortly. And the reason why Jeremy has let us know, the reason why he does this so early is because those that do qualify will have the opportunity to start building their what do you call it? Their resume, their stock, or build their partnerships, I should say, to get out there, because this takes time. As you know, Phil, this is not something that just happens overnight. You number one, you gotta have a boat. If you're gonna get a new boat, you better have everything there. Mm-hmm. Then you gotta get it wrapped. Then you gotta get your jerseys. Then you gotta entries. You know, whatever you gotta do, you have hotel accommodations. There's a lot that happens in like 4 to 5 months. Is there not? I mean, absolutely. Was it stressful?
Absolutely, there is a lot. Yeah, especially being my first time last year dealing with boat wraps or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you know, we did get enough time to get it done. But yeah, it is. There's a lot. There's absolutely a lot.
Yeah, hats off to Genesis Graphics. I know that VJ and his group, I can't tell you how many boats they did, you know, over the course of probably the last 30 days. And he banged them out, and just they're all in great shape. That he does a fantastic job. Any last recap from you, Cliff, before we start going into the Columbia and talking about like recapping when the last time to, well, I guess the deadline for signups are. But I mean, any last remarks? I mean, I'm looking forward to you qualifying. I'll see you at the Columbia River for sure. But I mean, anything that you want to say?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, and on your part?
I missed what you asked me.
Is there any last thoughts on your part? Oh, we lost him. Maybe that was his last thought. Okay. So he'll probably bang in. Hey, go ahead and touch base real quick, Ken, on Columbia, if you could, on that date.
I mean, I heard your question, and I think that more than anything, there's guys. I've been talking to Zachary Richards, who's been a longtime Wild West Pro-Am angler, and he is laser focused on trying to qualify for Apex. And there's guys that we haven't talked about that are in the 20s that really can make a move here. Randy McAbee, I don't know if he's going to Columbia or not. We don't even need to. If we started talking about how good Randy is, we would need another segment about how many boats that guy has won. Ricky Shabazz is in 25th. He was in the inaugural group. He got invited and had to decline because of his demanding family and work schedule. So a guy like that, maybe he has seen it now and he might be like, well, hey, maybe I made a mistake.
How about Hayden? How about Hayden Lee?
Right there, and I'm looking at the list here. That's why I'm not. Teddy Snyder is another one that recently jumped from the back to the front. He's in 29th and he's got a 173rd point finish at Clear Lake, which I know he's not happy with, but he can go to the Columbia and take a top 10 and he could skyrocket up into that, into that upper range. So, and then there's some guys like Ish Monroe, who has only fished 2 of them. I think he's going to the Columbia. He does well there and, he could qualify. Ultimately, for me as a competitor, I want the tour to grow and I want the best 60 anglers that the tour has to offer. Just like I said when Phil won, you look at that list and it's even Ryan White. I didn't mention Ryan White. Ryan White has won a couple of boats, in his career. So it's just a stacked field that's going to get even more stacked. And I'm not going to sit here and call people out, but there's some anglers out there in Arizona, in SoCal, and even in NorCal that and in the Pacific Northwest. When we fish those National Guard days, Ron Hobbs, and David Crum, those guys, Zach remembers those guys. Is this enough to motivate those guys? To come back in. And I hope it is because I want to look up and when I win that big trophy that Phil has won, I want to look down the field and be like, dude, I beat some people.
Yeah, well, Phil, you beat some people.
Absolutely, it was.
You beat some people. What's the date of the Columbia? Do you have that handy? I should have it. I believe it's June 30th or July 30th, August 1st.
The actual event dates are July 30th and 31st. That's the first 2 days, and then the top 10 cut is August 1st.
Top 10 cut? You mean the 10-day cut?
No, the top 10 is on Sunday, August 1st.
Yes.
Yeah, off limits starts July 19th through the 27th with a 2-day practice is what I have.
All right, so if you're on the fence, you better sign up, especially if you're this close to Apex. You don't want to well, like you said, Cliff, you don't want to just bank on it. You want to make sure that you're going to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Phil, you're getting a lot of congrats. Just so you know, I know you're not able, but Kent Brown and several other people have said congratulations
Thank
to
you
you.
guys.
I just want to acknowledge that, because you don't have that list. I could see a couple of the comments are just, but I would just want to acknowledge that. But a lot of guys were happy for you.
Thank you.
The 2022 dates. I know that the Jamboree is going on. We just want to touch base. Jeremy did ask us to kind of go over that briefly. That they've been submitted, and hopefully shortly we'll be able to announce next year's dates. Don't expect to know where you're going to go. and Jeremy made that pretty clear. I mean, he just said up north, maybe in California, 1 or 2, maybe in SoCal, maybe 1 in Arizona, Nevada, or New Mexico or Utah. I mean, that's what he said. He said we could be in Idaho, but that's the beauty of Apex is, you know what, we're just going to show up anyways, right? I mean, that's how it's going to go down.
And I've heard a lot about Coeur d'Alene.
Yes.
I would love to go there. Never been there in my life. It's too far for me to go for a day trip. And I guess for me, that's why I like the format is, you have to let go of that. I need to know where I'm going. I need to know this. I need to know that. You have to fish free. And now I'll go back to what Phil said when he won. He says, you have to adapt quicker. You have to learn quicker. And again, with no practice, like we saw it at Comanche. The first session, it was kind of lackluster, right? And then in the second session, Lintner busts a 15 or a 13-pound bag or 11-pound bag, and Luke John's, busted a big bag. Because the field is so good that the more time you give them on a body of water, and like Phil says, the more information that you gather from either being successful or not being successful, you see more and more as the tournament wears on, the guys figure them out. That's how good they are.
Yeah. And Zach actually made a great comment right now. He said, top 10 weight went up, and most keepers last on the last day.
Right. That solidifies what I'm saying. Normally that doesn't happen in a regular pro-am. It normally goes the other direction.
Yep.
Correct.
Because, well, again, they're putting pieces to the puzzle together.
Right.
They may not be wasting fish. They're pre-fishing we are pre-fishing the entire time.
Right.
And then you let it all hang out right at the last day, So, and these guys are just better. They're just better at this, It's just like, holy crap, I don't want to let my guard down.
Hey, Vince, I got one request from you.
Yeah.
From you and Apex.
Yeah.
If I qualify, will you come back to Comanche, please?
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what. I've missed a few tournaments in my life, but this tournament in particular had me just chomping at the bits. I wanted to be out there so bad, being it's my home lake. I know the lake when it gets tough. I've got a lot of years on it. On top of that, I've got 2 of the Apex guys from Arizona, Marty Lawrence and Kevin Finley, staying at my house.
Tremendous people.
I get up, I got to go to work, and their boats are gone. They're on the water.
on your home lake.
On my home lake. But hey, congratulations, Phil, seriously. And everybody else that even got bit or caught a fish, great job.
Thank you.
Great job. And hey, real quick, The Hook, the tackle shop in Ione, I think I'd like to give them a shout out for hosting everybody, and they put on a great event.
They did.
You know what? They were fantastic. And also, I would Jeremy did mention that, help me out here. Help me out. There was a few, oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank right now? Because one gentleman, Michael Coleman, was very instrumental on helping out as well. And Michael, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I know
Trey Dodd and that whole Jackson Stan Lefevre, he wants to qualify for Apex.
Well, even Earl, and I mean the whole Jackson Rancheria crew were absolutely tremendous with assisting us with everything. And as anglers, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but we all appreciate it because we know what it did for us. The staff. The staff there alone, we saw how hot it was. The camera crews, I was trying to get a picture. I didn't even think about it. But you saw the camera crews sitting there with their feet in the water, just like dying, in heat because they're holding these big cameras, watching, Phil trying to get a fish, trying to land a fish, and trying not to laugh. But
yeah, I'd say, Karen, Darla, Steve Meduno, he handles every fish.
The Hensey boys.
There's so much that goes behind the scenes that people don't see, and they just see Phil lifting the trophy. And I'll answer Cliff's thing. From what I saw and what I understood of the community, I would find it hard pressed for some type of Wild West event to not go back to Comanche. The community was tremendous. And even if we went back there with another Apex, you just go during a different part of the year, and the lake's completely different, right? Because it's full, and all those big fish are maybe getting ready to spawn, right? So it's a completely different event, anyways.
Right.
Yeah, I know for myself, I'd like to see you guys come back, but seriously,
Hey, don't say you guys. Don't say you guys. You got to say us. Us.
Yeah, I mean, I have people asking me if we're already coming back this next year. So,
Yeah,
what?
Can I say I want to speak on something too for anybody that was hearing, how the Apex is going to, potentially goes all over from Idaho to Utah, New Mexico, or whatnot. I wouldn't take that as a discouragement, because I think one of the things that people need to realize is there's no practice, and so you're actually, your trips are shorter, right? Because you don't have 2 or 3 days of practice. So, you might go to Clear Lake and be like, oh, I don't want to go up to Columbia River. That's a lot further. It's more expensive. It's actually not, because you're probably staying 2 or 3 less days. You're fishing less, right? So it's 3-day tournament, and that's it. And so you drive up there and back. So for anybody that may think that the drive is, is discouraging, I would definitely say also remember that there's no practice, and so you take that out of it.
Well, Cliff, you said something off air. What did you think about the double weigh-in when you saw it?
Oh, I was excited. I couldn't believe I wasn't there. I honestly, I was honestly tripping out. It just was like a stab in the heart to me. Like, what? You guys are weighing in twice? I mean, it doesn't get much better ton that.
I mean, these are long days. These are long days. And we get a lot of fishing time. We do have a break. The breaks, well, I shouldn't say we do, because we just don't know if we're going to get a break. But the breaks were really appreciative. I know I appreciated it because it was hot, but it gave you a chance to kind of recoup and start thinking again, and maybe step away for just a moment to say, okay, what's going on, So, there's a lot of twists. It's a hybrid format. It takes a team to make this work. Tourney X, Dwayne Wally and his platform has been fantastic for us. The anglers, like Ken said, he said it best. We are Apex. It's not Wild West. And Jeremy has said it from the beginning. You guys are Apex. And I really believe wholeheartedly that we are. And it's showing it. The camaraderie's there. Everyone's happy. What else can I say? Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Any last thoughts, guys? I mean, Phil, you're a fantastic winner. I mean, you didn't cry. I thought you were going to cry, but you didn't cry. But I mean, it was great to see you win. Any last thoughts? And we'll go through this and we'll go ahead and sign off here. But anything else?
Just want to say thanks to Apex. Thanks to you guys. And again, if you're out there thinking about it, Wild West is drawing the numbers. Apex is definitely the place to be. And I would strive. If I was a hardcore tournament angler on any part of our region, I'd be striving to make Apex, because I think it's the pinnacle of our region.
All right, Cliff, are you Apex?
I'm Apex. I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. 100%.
All right, Kenny, anything?
The last thing, me, I always got something to say. Our next Apex event, if you want to go, if you want to see what it looks like, we're going to another new lake, which is exciting. But on August 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we're going to be at the Thermalito Afterbay, which is also known as the Oroville Afterbay. The Feather Falls Casino, who is Alex Klein's title sponsor, is rolling out the red carpet for us. I know that those new Apex hopefuls, hopefully I'm not saying things that Jeremy can't cash, but I know the Apex hopefuls can anticipate having an in-person meeting, sometime around that date. So just again, be aware of that. You can come out and check it out. Someone else is going to win on a lake that we've never been to, and who knows what the format's going to be. But really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you know what, you mentioned Alex Klein. He's done a lot of work up there for the entire group, and we appreciate that.
He's going there measuring. He's measuring the to make sure there's clearance for the boat trailers, and and that's the kind of work Going back to your original question, I know we want to get out of here, but what Phil says about having wrap boats, what people don't see is the work that happens outside of that, and the work that Alex is putting in with his title sponsor to help us be in that community. Like Cliff said, what happened in Ione on Wednesday, for me personally and for the organization was special. To have all those kids there and the community, that's outreach. That's what we should be doing. It's not and I'll say it like this, it's not about some guys, wearing some shirt who's out there catching fish by themselves. Right? That's not what it's about. It's about all the other things that the organization does and that the anglers do to reach out to the community and inspire the next Luke Johns, to inspire the next Colby Pearson, to inspire, a guy like Nick Cloutier. That's what it's about.
Alex has been doing a fantastic job, but I also believe that all the anglers have been doing a great job. I mean, John Pearl, great example. He presents himself. Everyone presents themselves in a way that you just don't see anymore, and it's refreshing. It's just nice. And like you said, Nick Cloutier, we can go down the list. We really could. So I ain't got time to go down 32 people, 33 people, whatever it is. But the reality is everyone is towing the line, and the kids are seeing it. The community is seeing it. I've had community owners at gas stations and little mini marts. You stop in there and they're just like, thank you so much for being here. Almanor was incredible. The reception we had there, let alone the fishing. I hope we can go back, but this is the kind of stuff we're seeing. And Cliff, I can't wait to see or to have you be a part of it and experience it yourself, because you've seen it from out here, and then when you feel it, from when you're a part of it, it's a whole nother ball game. And I'm excited to have you there. And I just hope I can do that one time with that big old trophy, because the trophies, I keep looking at this stupid thing, man. It's bigger than your head. It's bigger than your head, man. It's huge. What people don't know is that thing's probably 10, 15 feet behind you. Yeah. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. And Dan's laser art engraving was, he was hired in the off season, and Jeremy and others have come up with the concept to build a custom made, I was talking to John Pearl when the trophy was sitting over there at the banquet. He's got one already.
I know.
And he goes, I want to be the first one to get two. Right?
No, Phil.
I got a chance at it now. I got a chance.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's special. It's something that people want, that people covet. And they've really done a good job. That I guarantee you that trophy, I've seen it up and close. I haven't earned one yet, but that trophy's not inexpensive to produce. It's handcrafted, and it's something that people want. Like Greg said he had to make room on his mantle because it was so big.
I kicked my wife out of bed, and we're trying to find somewhere to put her. So
you're so done.
Yeah, no, I think she's watching this too. So no.
KK is like, oh yeah, okay. We can see about that.
He's cut off.
Yeah.
Done.
Hey, one last shout out. I know many of us did have some challenges there, and Jeremy has done a fantastic job to solidify someone to help us with engines and whatnot. And Ace worked his butt off this past week, and that's another nice safety blanket that we have.
That's Wickenburg Marine.
Wickenburg Marine. Again, thank you all, for the support. This is something. I mean, how nice is that, Cliff? You fish everything, so how important it is to know you have that there. I got issues. You go in. I saw Paul Hodges come in. He had a problem with his trolling motor head, just fell off. He came in there. 20 minutes later, he's back on the water. It was great. It was great to see that. So he has, and I say Jeremy and his staff has literally pulled. think that's it, guys.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
KK says, "Where are you sleeping tonight, Phil?"
I guess I'm sleeping at the Toxic Baits headquarters. So
yeah, you might be sleeping in your boat, hugging your trophy.
That's funny.
All right, guys. Hey, we're going to sign off right now. Please, if you're thinking about signing up at the Columbia River, you got a couple days to do it. I know Cliff will not be upset if you don't. But if you want to definitely try and secure your spot or get into there, that's going to be the place. That's going to be the deal breaker right there. Sign up for that. Jeremy Wild West will have more information on the dates coming up for next year. I know that I think there's going to be even some more twists with kayak, which is growing and growing and growing, as well as the youth series. Jeremy's just been really going wide to really just cater to everyone. I want to thank you, Ken. Phil, again, fantastic job winning, man. It really was a tough deal. Cliff, I know it hurt to watch us all be there and play, but you're going to be there, and we're really excited. Thank you so much for coming out. Hands down, you're a great angler, great person to have on here. Again, thank you all for watching Wild West Bass Trails Facebook Live, 5 Alive hosting it. We'll see you next time, and we will be signing off right now. Thank you.